In The Lord of the Rings, Gandalf appears as a wandering wizard, grey-cloaked, staff in hand, a friend to hobbits, and bringer of fireworks. But behind this disguise lies one of the most profound mysteries of Tolkien's legendarium. To hobbits, he was a guest and a mentor. To men, he was an advisor and a strategist. To Sauron, he was an enemy, far more dangerous than he first appeared. Yet Gandalf was not a man, nor an elf, nor even a wizard in the modern sense of the word. He was something older, greater, and far more mysterious. A Maia spirit, servant of the secret fire, bound to a mission that would shape the destiny of Middle-earth. Today, we'll uncover Gandalf's true identity, his hidden origins in the Undying Lands, and the meaning of the secret fire, and why, despite his immense power, he could not simply overthrow Sauron by force. To understand Gandalf, we must go back, not to the Shire, not even to the Second Age of Númenor, but to the very beginning of creation. In Tolkien's mythology, the world begins with Eru Ilúvatar, the One. From his thought came the Ainur, immortal spirits of immense power. The greatest of these were the Valar, the shapers of the world. The lesser were the Maia, their helpers and servants. And Gandalf was one of these lesser spirits. His true name was Olórin. In the blessed realm of Valinor, across the sea, Olórin lived long before the world knew sorrow. He wandered in the gardens of Lórien, a land of rest and dreams, and dwelt often in the house of Nienna, the Lady of Pity. From Nienna, Olórin learned mercy, compassion, and patience. Tolkien writes in the Silmarillion, "Wisest of the Maia was Olórin. He too dwelt in Lórien, but his ways took him often to the house of Nienna, and of her he learned pity and patience." This is what set Gandalf apart from the beginning. While many spirits sought strength or glory, Olórin sought understanding and humility. He walked unseen among the elves in their earliest days, whispering to them wisdom in their hearts, but they never knew it was him. So when the Valar later sought emissaries to send into Middle-earth, it was Olórin's humility that made him the perfect choice, though he himself doubted it. By the year 1000 of the Third Age, Sauron had begun to rise again. He no longer appeared as a fair lord, but as a shadow in the east, gathering strength in Mordor. The Valar could not simply march into Middle-earth. Direct intervention would risk destroying the free will of the elves and men. So instead, they chose 5 Maia to go in their stead, to guide, counsel, and to inspire. These became the Istari, the Order of Wizards. Curanir or Saruman the White, the most learned, appointed as head of the Order. Then you had Olórin, or Gandalf the Grey, humble and wise, though reluctant to go. Then you had Iwendil, also known as Radagast the Brown, lover of beasts and birds. And then the mysterious blue wizards, Alatar and Palando, who vanished into the east. Tolkien reveals in the Unfinished Tales that Gandalf at first resisted the call. He felt unworthy, too weak for the task. Yet Manwë, chief of the Valar, insisted that his humility made him the most suited of all. When he arrived in Middle-earth, he took the name Gandalf, meaning Elf of the Wand, in the tongue of the North. His grey cloak symbolised his humility and his willingness to walk amongst all peoples. But the Istari were bound by strict rules. They were forbidden from revealing their full power. They were not to dominate the free people or rival Sauron with sheer force. Instead, they were to inspire resistance, working through persuasion, courage, and wisdom. This is why Gandalf never simply marched on Mordor to overthrow Sauron. Although his power was immense, his authority was bound by his mission. When Gandalf faced the Balrog in Moria, he declared, "I am a servant of the secret fire, wielder of the flame of Anor. You cannot pass." But what is the secret fire? To understand, we return again to the creation of the world. The Ainur sang the greatest music that shaped the reality, but it was Ilúvatar's secret fire, the flame imperishable, that gave it life. Without the flame, the music would have been only thought and never matter. The secret fire is the spark of creation, the divine energy that sustains all existence. It is goodness, life, and true being. To call oneself a servant of the secret fire is to proclaim allegiance to Eru Ilúvatar and to the divine purpose behind all creation. The flame of Anor, which Gandalf also names, is the flame of the sun, a symbol of light against darkness. By contrast, the Balrog was once a Maia like Gandalf, but corrupted by Morgoth, the first Dark Lord. Where Gandalf wielded fire as a servant of creation, the Balrog wielded it as destruction and terror. Thus their clash in Moria was not merely wizard against demon, it was the flame of creation against the fire of ruin. It is divine purpose against corruption. And Gandalf stands as the vessel of Ilúvatar's will in that moment. This brings us on to one of the great questions. If Gandalf was so powerful, why didn't he simply take the ring and overthrow Sauron? The answer lies in the nature of power itself. Sauron's strength was domination through fear, control, and tyranny. He bent others to his will. Saruman too fell to this temptation, turning to machinery and manipulation. Gandalf, however, was bound to a different path. He was sent not to dominate, but to guide. If he used force to overthrow Sauron, he would become no different from the enemy he opposed. This is why he reacts so strongly when Frodo offers him the ring. "Do not tempt me. The way of the ring to my heart is by pity. Pity for weakness and the desire of strength to do good. Do not tempt me. I dare not take it, not even to keep it safe." Gandalf knew that the ring would corrupt him, not by appealing to evil, but by twisting his desire to do good into tyranny. He'd begin as a saviour and end as a Dark Lord. Instead, Gandalf placed his faith in others. In Aragorn to lead men, in Theoden to resist despair, in the hobbits to find courage in their smallness. His wisdom lay in knowing that victory must come not through his own strength, but through the free choices of the peoples of Middle-earth. This is why, in the end, it is Frodo and Sam who bring the ring to Mount Doom, and why the greatest victory comes from the smallest hands. Gandalf's mission was tested most severely in Moria, when he faced the Balrog of Morgoth. Their battle raged from the depths of Khazad-dûm to the peak of Zigar-Zigil. For days they fought, until at last Gandalf cast down his foe. But in doing so, his own body was destroyed. In truth, Gandalf died. His spirit left Middle-earth, but unlike mortal death, his mission was unfinished. Tolkien makes clear that it was not the Valar who sent him back, but Eru Ilúvatar himself. Gandalf later tells Aragorn, Legolas and Gimli, "Naked I was sent back, for a brief time until my task is done." Returning as Gandalf the White, he was clothed in greater authority. He now surpassed Saruman, who betrayed his purpose. His transformation echoes deep Christian symbolism: death, resurrection, and renewal. But more than symbolism, it confirms that Gandalf's mission was sanctioned by the highest power in Tolkien's mythology. He was no longer simply one of the Istari. He was the direct hand of Providence in Middle-earth. In the end, Gandalf was far more than a wandering wizard. He was Olórin of Valinor, a Maia spirit, servant of the secret fire, and emissary of the Valar. His mission was never to dominate, never to seize power, but to inspire hope. And that is the paradox of Gandalf. Though he was one of the most powerful beings in Middle-earth, his greatest victories came not from displays of strength, but from humility, compassion, and the wisdom to trust others. Through Gandalf, Tolkien shows us the truth that runs through all of his work, that the greatest power is not found in domination, but in service, not in ruling, but in guiding, not in fear, but in hope. When Gandalf sails into the west at the end of the story, it marks the close of the Third Age, the fading of magic, and the beginning of the Age of Men. Yet his legacy endures. For as long as stories are told, Gandalf remains a symbol of wisdom, courage, and light, a true servant of the secret fire. This brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future content like this. In the description, you'll find a link to my other channel called Nerdy Miniatures. So if you enjoy Warhammer content, over there we build, paint, and we'll soon be battling Warhammer armies against each other. So if that's more your cup of tea, then please feel free to have a look at that. Anyway, that'll be it from me today. Have a wonderful day, or night, wherever you are in the world. And as always, bye for now, guys.